What's the most pathetic thing you've done because you were horny? I was in the Navy and took a week of leave in Italy. Had my GF flown out to Rome as a birthday present and convinced her to have a quickie in one of the dark alcoves in the Vatican just so I could one day brag about it like this. Fastest session I've ever had. Oh. And 10 years later, mission complete as soon as I hit save on this post. Sex with my GF in her studio apartment while her sister slept in the main room. Only a thin curtain separated us from her. She heard us and texted it to us the next morning saying it was not cool. During a blizzard, OFWB called me to meet her because she felt lonely. A normal walk of 2 miles and some change lasted from 40 minutes to 1 hour and 51 minutes. It was close to midnight by the time I got there at her downstairs basement, only for her father to randomly check on her, causing me to contort my body to hide from him. Glad I am still alive. When I was much younger and before I knew the existence of porn, I masturbated to the dictionary definition of sexual intercourse. Blew a guy while his dad slept in the bed next to us. He probably wasn't even asleep while we were doing it, and I'm assuming he never slept ever again after that. Edited to add that I had a bunch of people asking if we still communicate. I haven't talked to him since Thanksgiving when he texted and I sent a quick reply. Because of this post I called him today, the 1st of June 2017, and left a message. Maybe I'll hear from him later. Thanks y'all. Called one of those late night chat lines. Met up with this 47-year-old chick at like 5 in the morning. She was a heroin addict. Helped her move a bunch of shit on her lawn for a yard sale. Presumably to get money for more drugs. Felt her boobs and made out with her a little. Her daughter came downstairs and they got in an argument. Calling each other cunts. She asked me to go upstairs but I politely declined. I left after that. Don't make that call. I thought putting my dick into a snowball would be fun. Turns out I compacted it too tight. So it was like rubbing dick on an ice rink floor. 0/10 would fuck Frosty the Snowman again. I once fucked a toilet paper roll. Got a paper cut on my cock. Never again. Without lube. Never again without lube. I fucked my couch. I'm Jewish, ethnically at least, and I slept with a girl whose a Cupid profile had mentioned the destruction of Israel. Has anyone fapped in a car while driving on the interstate? I have. I masturbated under the table during the sat after I gave up on a section I couldn't handle. I was on a business trip to a meeting. My hotel room was in the same building where the meeting was supposed to be held. This hotel is a 5-star hotel and was known to be high class, big tits, big ass, prostitutes friendly. The shapes of the women that were flowing in and out of that building was so $sign that when I was on my way to the meeting passing that lobby, I decided to go back to my room to jerk myself off quickly or I will fuck someone in the meeting. $sign. I went up the elevator and it stopped suddenly between 2 floors. Technical failure. I was late to the meeting by half an hour. Afraid and horny. Once fingered my GF under some blankets while watching a comedy with some friends, being literally almost shoulder to shoulder. It was sometimes tough for her not to make any sound, so whenever anything funny would happen she would laugh extra loud, if you know what I mean. Almost 100% nobody noticed anything. Traveled 700 kilometers for a lunch date. Traveled 350 kilometers. Met girl. Had lunch. Traveled 350 kilometers back. The end. I masturbated with a cucumber when I was a teenager. Washed it off. Put it back in the fridge. Mom ate it the next day. Edit. My most upvoted comment on Reddit is about this. Hooked up with an ex. Whom I hate. Actually she hated me too. Like we had the would not waste the piss on each other to put out the flames if one of us was burning alive kind of hate going on. The sex was angry. Awkward. Mutually selfish and devoid of any personal warmth. And we both clearly felt ashamed about it afterwards and were questioning what in our lives had gone wrong to bring us to this moment. Was waiting in line at Scarowinds and my GF was super horny. Had a big coat on because it was cold, so she dropped and started blowing me while I sort of draped the jacket over her head. It was really crowded so nobody noticed, except for my brother who asked, "Where's Kendra?" He then looked down, realized what was going down and said, "Make her stop right now. You two are trash." I was 18 at the time and thought I was cool. Looking back, my brother was right. We were trash. There's this guy who went to my brother's school that was tripping on acid in the bathroom, jacking off to porn on his phone. Max volume with no headphones. While laying on the ground in the stall. It ended with security outside the stall trying to get him out, and he yelled, "I'm not getting out until I finish." I feel like he deserved a standing applause as he was escorted out. When I was in college, there was a really bad snowstorm one night. But I was up late texting some girl. Things got heated and I decided to brave the storm to get lucky. I ended up getting stuck in the snow about a half mile from her house in the city. I abandoned my car in the middle of the street and walked the rest of the way. Because I was not going home empty-handed. Got that ass? Yes. Then returned to my car a couple hours later to find the battery depleted from the hazards. It was like 4 AM at this point, so I had nobody to contact for a jump. I ended up waiting almost 2 more hours before someone driving by jumped me and I was able to unstick my car and drive home. 10/10 would do again. Great life memory of a desperate struggle for a conquest. I was really sick with asthma that almost killed me. I was admitted to the hospital 2 weeks at this point, and my girlfriend comes in to visit and gives me blowjob in the bathroom with IVs and all sorts of stuff still plugged into me. When I was coming, I had a pain in my chest and almost collapsed. I drove from NJ to Baltimore, Maryland for a blowjob. Didn't matter. Got blown. In my sophomore year of college. The batteries in my vibrator ran out at a really inopportune time. I put on some pajamas, walked down the hall, and checked in our communal TV's remote for an exchange. This became somewhat of a tradition, culminating in the realization that I needed to buy my own batteries when I found myself doing it in somebody else's dorm. When I graduated to plug-in vibrators, I forgot to account for wattage changes when going abroad and blew out the fuse of my apartment as a first introduction to all of my roommates.